insect. I want that comic book. No way, it's mine. Get your own.
Hand it over. I'm warning you. Now, come on. Oh.
Hey, dweebs, what are you up to? Come on, let's get out of here.
Oh.
Little maggots.
Moon Podcast Escalation! Everyone, my name is Jordan D. White.
My name is Chris Sims, and this is Sailor Business. It's the podcast where we sit down with a friend each and every week to watch an episode of the classic 1992 Sailor Moon anime and talk about how great it is and why we love it so much. And we are well into Sailor Moon R at this point. Sailor Moon returns for romance and revenge. And
sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
You know, Sailor Moon R, whatever.
For Rini.
And today... For Rini, essentially. Today, we're going to be watching episode 52, The Targeted Kindergartners, Venus to the Rescue. That's right, it's a spotlight on Minako for about 5 minutes before it's suddenly not. So, it's going to be a really fun time. We have a returning special guest from last week. Annie Creighton is here. Annie, thank you so much for coming back to join us.
I'm excited for my least favorite Senshi to have an episode.
Whoa! Okay, wait, now, all right. We talked last week about who your favorite was, but I did not expect Venus to be your least favorite.
I hate Minako so much.
Why?
She brings nothing to the table.
Okay,
She brings nothing. It's like you have your four Senshi that have like really defined personalities. They bring things to the table. They are very different. Minako gets idioms wrong.
Yeah, that is true.
Was Sailor V?
Yep.
Has a cat.
I mean, she's again Sailor Moon. She's Sailor Moon again, just a little different. And that's why I don't hate her, because I love Sailor Moon so much. Sailor Moon imitation is going to be like, all right, I love you a little bit less.
You just want like a 0.5 Sailor Moon.
Yeah, that is. We've said this on the show before. You are absolutely right about Minako not bringing a whole lot to the table in the anime. And as I have said, I am pretty sure my entire affection for Minako comes from Codename Sailor V. Like it's
I have not read Sailor V. I've not done anything with it, so like absolutely I can see that.
It's exactly like Sailor Moon, but it's dumber.
Go on.
It's goofier and weirder and more cartoony, and even more formulaic. And her version of Umino has slightly different hair. But yeah, like I feel like for me, that just makes Minako fall into the middle. Like I have a fondness for her. Like I hold her in fond regard, but like I don't actively dislike her as much as I dislike Ray, which again, I still like Ray. Like that's the secret. I like them all.
That's not a secret. You constantly say you don't have a favorite.
Yeah, but we always talk about Ray and how frustrated we are with Ray and how mean she is. But I like Ray. Like I like her. I like her fine. She's just of those
so
five. Like, oh, she's mean.
I love what a jerk Ray is.
We're really getting ahead of ourselves here, but yes. I do think Minako suffers from having spotlight episodes that are mostly garbage.
It's not that bad. This is not as bad as the last 3 episodes, I don't think.
No, I actually think the episode that we're going to be watching today is fun, but it also raises so many questions about how this world works that it is not prepared to answer.
Well, it raises questions about how this world works culturally, whereas the previous episode raised questions about how this world works, like physically, physics, and logic.
The last week's episode raised questions about how holes work.
Okay.
We didn't even get into the point that she brought like a physical object from her mind into the real world.
True.
Through a hole.
No.
Yeah.
Through a portal.
Magic hole.
A portal. They call those portals.
Magic hole.
Anyway.
Now, Annie, like I said, we talked about your history with Sailor Moon a little bit last week. If people want to check that out, they can definitely go listen to that one. We also talk about Gem and the Holograms. We do a mini episode on Intrigue at the Indy 500, which I cannot wait to hear the episode of your podcast, the Gem Jam, where you and your two co-hosts will be discussing that one. Cannot wait for that. But I think
a good episode.
How many episodes of Gem are there?
Recorded. It's down the pipe. 50 something.
I think there's 60. I think there's around 60 episodes. Did you read it?
No, like I said, I've just kind of glanced at it. It looks pretty nutty.
They have to go on double dates with the Black Moon Clan, right?
I don't know.
I love, not to get ahead of ourselves, I do love that the Black Moon Clan just gets turned into a bunch of squares. It's great.
What? What do you mean?
They just get turned into like a bunch of squares who go live in this normal apartment and go get jobs.
You're being a hep cat right now and calling them squares. I'm like, what are you?
They do not get turned into geometric shapes.
Well, we're talking about other people getting turned into rocks, so I was a little confused. And then I'm like, wait, does he mean they're not hip to my jive?
Yeah, that's right. That is what I said. Listen, Annie understood what I was talking about.
I did.
At any rate, yeah, if you want to check that out, it's at forkinghell.smackjeeves.com. Or I'm sure if you look up For King Hell, you'll probably find it. So that's fun.
And with that, I think it is about time that we start in on this week's episode. It is episode 52, and you can follow along on Hulu if you would like. It is available. I also have the DVDs, which I can highly recommend. Don't get the Blu-rays. They're a little bit of a ripoff. But definitely check out the DVDs. The new dub is actually really fun. And we are going to watch the Targeted Kindergartners, Venus to the Rescue. And we are going to open with the reveal that apparently Artemis sleeps holding a clock.
Well, no. First we see that he sleeps in bed with Venus, under the covers, snuggled up together, which is pretty adorable.
Okay, look. He sleeps with her. They sleep together. It's not like a cat that sleeps on the edge of your bed or a cat that sleeps on your pillow. He sleeps tucked in, facing her. May I remind you that Artemis is also a people.
I was going to say, it's a real good thing he's a cat and not a people.
Well, which is why she calls him a pervert in a moment when she's changing clothes, 2 seconds later.
The weird thing is, Luna sleeps on the bed like a cat.
Yes.
Luna sleeps on top of the covers, down by Usagi's feet. Artemis is pulling the covers up to his chin with his little kitty cat paws.
Listen, it's adorable. I wish my cats would sleep like that.
Also, Venus's room, Minako's room, is full of stuffed animals to what I would describe as a creepy extreme.
Not gonna lie, you put a red light in that room and instantly it is like a murder closet.
Yeah, if that room was lit in red, Christopher Sabella would be doing a Kickstarter to live there for a month. deep cut Christopher Sabella Kickstarter joke, everybody.
Yeah.
Minako has hearts as her motif, whereas Usagi has bunny rabbits. Minako's bed sheets and carved wooden headboard are all hearts.
Her name is Aino, of course.
Yes.
There we go. Now, as you said, Artemis is holding a clock in the bed, apparently, because, she pulls him out of the bed and looks at the clock to see what time it is. She's late. In a opening, basically exactly the same as a Usagi opening, except it's Mina.
But this shot of Minako holding up Artemis and Artemis is holding the clock when she realizes that she's late, it is drawn like a Kathy strip.
That's pretty funny.
I've been falling down on the job with screenshots lately because I did not have a DVDs until this week. But that one I have gone ahead and saved because it looks for all the world like Kathy. And she realizes she is late and we get the opening that is exactly like...
The difference being she doesn't fall down on her face. That's the only difference between the two of them.
The difference being she falls down on Artemis, who, by the way, is narrating the episode.
Right, at this point.
For 5 seconds.
Yeah. And again, this is the 5 seconds where he's actually cool and adorable. Usually he's just such a douchebag all the time. This, for 5 minutes, he's he's cool.
Okay, I talked about this episode raising a lot of questions.
Yes.
Here, it attempts to answer one Artemis describes himself as a male cat who understands human language. So, according to Artemis, Artemis is a cat and not a people.
Yeah, he's a cat.
But then he refers to Minako, at least in how it is translated in the subtitles and the dub, as his longtime partner, which I think is a weird way to put that.
That is a bit weird. Well, I mean, because she's been a crime fighter, and he's been her, like, crime fighting partner. So he's like Robin.
Yeah, would it be better if he was her ward?
No, that would not be better. But yeah,
we never see Minako's parents. Artemis could be her legal guardian.
No, Artemis cannot be her legal guardian. That is 100%. I know this about the world that Sailor Moon takes place in. Artemis cannot be Mina's legal guardian.
Let me ask you a question, Jordan.
Please.
Why not?
He is a cat.
Is he?
Yes.
You don't think... Are you telling me Artemis lacks the ability to fill out forms?
On which he puts what? My name is Artemis?
Artemis J. Aino.
Where's the J come from? Anyway, I don't think you can do that. No, I don't. I don't think you can just fill out a form to become someone's legal guardian.
I don't know.
I feel like someone is going to look at you at one point before that happens. Somebody's going to eyeball you a little.
All you need is a trench coat and several other cats.
No.
Perfect crime.
So yes, they're running. They're running really quickly.
Like there's a
the shot where she lands on him, crotch first. It's so weird.
Yeah, well, it's a sight gag. It's a slapstick gag because before, like, we get this shot of her like leaping through the air gracefully, and it's the big white background, and then we cut to the episode title, and when we cut back, she like falls crotch first directly on Artemis, who calls her fat. That joke does not land.
Not cool.
Also, we have been previously informed, and people cited Sailor V in this. People cited codename Sailor V, that Minako has the power of super athleticism, which is not shown in this.
Yes and no.
Directly onto Artemis.
The falling part, no, but the giant crazy leaps that she takes over like stuff.
She landed on like her knees and nothing skinned. She's fine.
Yeah. See, she's good.
Minako sees a little girl on the street. We will eventually find out that her name is Mie, and she is being hassled by some young boys who are accosting her because she thinks Sailor Moon is real.
No, that's later.
Is that later?
This time they're trying to steal her
want,
badge.
But they're talking
the Sailor Moon badge?
The Sailor Moon badge, right?
Yeah, I think we later will find that out, yeah. But
she's got like a big Sailor Moon on her jacket. And she also reveals that she was like fake crying to get them to leave her alone. And there's a lot of precocious youngsters in this episode, but with Mie in particular, the thing that I wrote down in my notes is, what if this is like that movie Orphan and this little girl is actually 32 years old? Because she seems to have a knack for manipulating people around her.
Yeah, that's true.
So wait, what you're telling me is that what if Mie is Baby Doll from Batman?
Exactly.
Wow.
My God.
In the dub, in the Deke dub, the boys are saying to her, I want that comic book. They're trying to steal a comic book from her.
Also, in the dub, those little boys have like tiny Brooklyn accents since they're thugs, I guess.
Yes, that is absolutely true. That is 100% true. Yes. Oh, God. Craziness.
She also says that Mia says that she is in the Tulip class, which I thought was an interesting thing. I have no idea if anyone wants to write us in and let us know if that is how like Japanese elementary schools are divided, with like little names like, oh, I'm in the Tulip class.
Yeah, that was my guess. It seemed like like this.
I think so.
I'm in the cherry
I would like
class.
to hear more of that. I would like to hear more of those class distinctions.
So the girl demands that Venus take her to the bus. Demands it, and Venus is like, "Well, I can't. I'm late, so I got to go." And then the girl starts crying saying that Venus is bullying her, at which point Venus cannot help but grab her and run her to the bus.
Minako runs into Usagi, who is even later, because she is still running to school after Minako has already dealt with an errand of an escort mission taking a child to her bus. But they are both late to school. Minako goes to school. We get another little aside from Artemis of saying, oh, the things she puts me through. And it's like, look, again, this is not their fault.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's like, look, they did not ask to be reincarnated moon princesses.
Oh, yeah, but they could have done a better job setting their alarms.
Okay, fine.
Like, in that capacity, it's their fault.
Fine. Then we get to what is a pretty amazing part of the episode, which is we cut back to the Usagi school.
Yes.
Where she is out in the hallway holding a bucket of water and is being, I just wrote down in my notes, Usagi shaming. Because she has a sign around her neck that is obviously put there by Haruna that says, I am always late for school.
I'll tell you what I don't get about this is if your punishment for students who are like late for school or whatever is to make them stand out in the hall, they're not going to learn anything. I mean, they're going to hopefully learn not to be late again, but they're not going to learn classes. Like, you've now made them miss school.
Yeah, and then they're going to do badly on the test, and then their mothers won't let them come in the house.
Oh, God.
Come on, Jordan. You've seen every episode of the show.
See, that doesn't seem like it will really benefit them in the long run. But maybe that's just me.
While she is out there, Allan walks up. What's his name?
Oh, what is his non-Allan name? Let's see.
It's Natsumi and
Seijuro.
So Allan walks up, Seijuro walks up, and drops what I think is probably the greatest pickup line
Since the trash pile line.
Since the trash pile line, certainly, which is, your melancholy face is very attractive.
Would you like to hear the English version of this?
Well, first, I would like to know what the Deke dub name of the episode is.
Oh, name of the episode? Oh,
yes.
Good question. It was Kindergarten Chaos.
They've gone to that chaos well a lot.
Yep. Yeah. So in Kindergarten Chaos, Allan walks up to Serena and says, "I have the most beautiful eyes when they're full of tears."
Wow, that's somehow creepier.
Yeah, it is. That one is actually worse. Melancholy, having a melancholy face that is beautiful is unfortunate, and it's like, that's a weird thing to say. You have the most beautiful eyes when they're full of tears. Like, it makes it sound like I want to do things that will make you cry because it gives me joy. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Natsumi, alias Ann, walks up and is like, gets real jealous while also referring to Seijuro as her brother. So, makes him do some exercise
because he holds his arms out wide and says, like, "Come into my arms so we can commence to love," or something like that. Something very close to that. "Come into my arms so we can exchange our love," is what I meant to say. And that's when she sees him, and so he pretends, "Oh yeah, I just was doing stretches." He's very casual. He covers it very well. No.
Yeah. And then Usagi has the same thought that I think everyone would, which is, such a strange brother and sister.
It's pretty true.
So they go up to the rooftop, and by they I mean Natsumi and Seijuro, Allan and Ann, Ale and An.
No.
And the cool kids. All the cool kids go up to the roof.
Yeah, the roof where you're always hanging out getting water splashed on you.
That is what happens on roofs.
Why is it the only episode where I can remember all of the details is the one with fucking Greg?
You're right, that was that same episode.
I can't remember anything else except Greg.
Worst.
Because you love him. Because it's true love. Your inner self will not deny. So now is when we get to... They're like... They have a little argument going, like, where they're going to get energy. Because she's like... He's like, where should we get energy? She's like, don't change the subject. You're a jerk. Anyway...
Well, no, he's like... He's like, yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get that teenage girl energy because we know that teenage girl energy is the best. And Anne goes, no. I found something even better than teenage girl energy. I found baby energy.
Kindergartner
Is Anne doing like all of the legwork in this arc? Because I feel like she's doing all of the legwork.
Oh yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that Allan is just showing up. He's just the pretty face of the operation.
Yeah, all he does is sit around and practice his flute.
Oh, that stupid flute.
So yeah, she reveals her plan to have fresher children energy. So then we cut to Venus is walking down the street. Oh,
well, wait, that again.
You object?
So like, we know that middle-aged energy is garbage. We know that nobody wants it. Nobody's here for it. It's bad. So it makes sense that like the energy of the young people would be better. Are we to believe that like the younger you are, the more energy you have?
No, because no, definitely not. Again, I would even say this episode basically puts the lie to the whole thing, in that it's not like they ever after this episode go, oh man, like we had that child energy and it was so good. Like what the heck? Like it just seems like it's just more energy that they're like, yeah, it was fine. It worked. But whatever, we can't go after kids. All right, we'll go after somebody else. It's fine.
But I mean, we also know that
going after children when they're looking for pure hearts or something involving Pegasus. I don't know.
Yes, well, that's different.
But they're not looking for energy. That's
Right.
true.
my question is, we know that Molly Baker energy is the premium. The Naru Osaka energy is like a number one,
Right.
A plus energy. Is I don't know where I'm going with this. I just have questions about how all this works.
It's because she is, well, I mean, obviously her best energy was her love energy. The other times I think it's just regular. Like again, because they don't go after her because they think she's got the best energy, except for when she's doing love energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the forces of destiny draw them to her because they need Sailor Moon to stop them.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, Allan and Ann have attacked Molly multiple times, and they have not gone, is that same girl? Like, why do we keep getting her?
They've been around for 6 episodes and they've attacked Molly at least twice.
At least. Maybe even more. Okay, so Venus walking down the street. Now coincidentally, she hears that same girl getting bullied by those same jerks. And now they're arguing over what Chris said, whether or not Sailor Moon is real. The little Brooklyn boys are saying that she is not real. And the young girl is saying, absolutely, she's real. She's totally real. You'll see.
Okay. Two things about this.
Please.
One, I would absolutely wear this cardigan that she has on, which is a pink cardigan with gold trim and a big Sailor Moon patch on it.
You're ridiculous.
I would absolutely wear that. Absolutely.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Somebody
here's
make it for
my-
Chris.
Yes, please. Also, and perhaps more importantly, do people not know Sailor? Okay. Do people not know Sailor Moon exists? Did they forget Sailor Moon existed when Sailor Moon forgot she was Sailor Moon?
Well, probably not, because again, we still had the Sailor V patch.
Because I want to point out, this girl's wearing merchandise.
Right,
This
exactly.
girl's wearing Sailor Moon merchandise.
But that's exactly it.
On TV, wasn't she?
Well, technically,
well,
it wasn't her, but everybody thought it was. Yes, exactly.
Zoe Side was on TV, but everybody clearly identified her as Sailor Moon. They said, look, there's Sailor Moon
Yes. So
on television.
I think the line is blurred. I think what happened is because they make cartoons of Sailor V and because they have merchandise of all these people, I think people get confused, especially young children. Like they're not 100% sure, in the same way that they'd be like, well, I've seen the Power Rangers too. Does that mean they're real too? And it's like, well, no, the Power Rangers aren't real. Then Sailor Moon's real? Well, yeah, I think Sailor Moon is real, but the Power Rangers are not.
Okay, well, that's fine. But Minako's little spiel here is completely inexcusable.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, wait.
That's
Let's
the
not.
thing that makes it bad.
Well, let's get to that in a second. Because first, I want to talk about the boys. So what happens is she comes up to protect them, and the little boys are all like, "What's this old lady doing here talking to us?" And totally freaks her out and makes her mad because they're calling her old.
Which again, I don't think like a 7-year-old would call a 14-year-old old lady.
Probably not in real life. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, they also told her she's too gross to get a boyfriend.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yes, that's true. No, yeah, they specifically they say something like with a face like that or something, which is like, I thought she was supposed to be pretty. Like, what did they see in her face? They're like, that's an ugly face she's got there. I don't know.
Speaking of faces, this, by the way, is one of those episodes, whichever team it is that draws everybody kind of like Paul Grist characters. This is one of those. Like, Minako
You
has
mean where they're all like kind of lumpy?
Yeah, like Minako has a very Paul Gristy style face, but with anime eyes in a lot of shots in this episode, which again I think is great. I would pay good money for Paul Grist Sailor Moon. If anybody knows if he's taking commissions, let me know.
All right, so now let's talk about her ridiculous answer to the question of whether Sailor Moon is real.
First, Minako introduces herself properly to Mie and says, "This is my cat Artemis," and Artemis very clearly says "meow," as in the word "meow."
That's what cats say.
The noise.
I don't know what you're talking about. Cats say meow, so
If I was on a farm and I heard a cow say the word "moo," I would be upset.
He's great. He goes meow.
So
Let's also point out that this is the sub where cats are supposed to say nyan.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Good point.
so weird. I don't know why that's the weirdest thing in this episode to me, but it really is.
If the little girl was like, "Why does he say meow?" she would go, "He spent a lot of time in England."
I like it.
So as you were saying, like you can twist this episode up so that it makes sense where this girl's like, "Hey, I'm not sure if Sailor Moon is real or not. Like, I know that Batman isn't real, but I feel like the Power Rangers might be real." Like, but then when she asks an adult, Minako responds as though she is talking about Santa Claus.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
No, it's like this is not Santa Claus.
Yeah, Mina tells her like, it's a hard question to answer on whether Sailor Moon exists or not, but if you believe in her, then I guess she is real.
Yes. Yes.
Like, no, the answer is just yes. The answer is just yes, Sailor Moon exists.
Like, if you ask that about any person, if somebody said, is President Obama real? And somebody was like, if you believe, then he's real. Like, that's like, what? You only say...
exclusively in the Juban district.
Well, but you only ever have to say what matters is that you believe if they're not real. Which means I just spoiled that Santa Claus isn't real, everybody. Sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
My parents.
Yep. Now you get it.
I want to see the episode of this show where this kid meets Molly instead. and she's just like, hey, is Sailor Moon real? And Molly's like, you bet your ass Sailor Moon's real.
Fortunately, she is. She saves my life every day.
Like, Sailor Moon's been in the newspaper.
Yeah.
She's literally been in the newspaper.
So has Batman. But he's not real either. I'm sorry.
I wish you could see the face I'm making.
Also, I don't believe in fairies.
You don't believe in anything, Jordan. You're no fun. No fun, Jordan. That's your new name.
But Sailor Moon is real in the context of this show. In real life.
There's one other weird thing.
Please.
Which is that I don't know if it happens here or if it happens later in the episode. It might be when Minako goes to the class the next day. But there's a part where she talks about, she's like, yeah, I mean, I know Sailor Venus too. And all the kids are like, who?
Oh, no, that's here. That's here.
That's in
this
conversation. Okay, so little kid goes, who's Sailor Venus? And Artemis gets this little narration, and he's like, same old story. And it's like, no, Artemis, that's not the same old story. In fact, it's the opposite of the same old story.
Yeah, the same old story
is everybody thinks she's Sailor V.
It's
everybody thinks Sailor Moon is Sailor V.
Also, you skipped another great part, which is the part where she goes, so if you believe in Sailor Moon, she's real. And so the kid goes, so you know Sailor Moon? And she goes, yeah, I hang out with her all the time. And Artemis is like, what?
She was real.
Frick?
And Artemis is freaking out. She goes, yeah, I've met her. I know her. And then she goes, yeah, I'll come to your school and I'll tell everybody that she's real.
Okay.
What?
Now, okay. First of all,
and
why
then
didn't she just follow Usagi and go, hey,
come to
Usagi,
the school.
Come to the school of Sailor Moon. Like, give these little kids a thrill. Like, these girls getting picked on. It'll be a nice thing to do.
You know why, Chris? Because it doesn't matter whether Sailor Moon is real or not. What matters is that they believe.
Except that she is.
I know. But
the freaking believing is seeing scene from the Santa Claus.
she's gonna teach these kids how to be innocent again. She says, guys.
None of these episodes. We went into this liking the Doomtree saga so much.
Something's gonna redeem it. Something is gonna redeem it.
We get a little bit of some Cardian stuff happening, some Doomtree stuff happening. Anne picks a card that has like a weird little angel dude on it. It does. Gigaros is his name. It doesn't matter.
Oh, hold on. You missed a great descriptor. What is it they're after getting in this episode?
We're talking about juicy children energy?
The fresh, juicy energy of children. I don't know why children are juicy, but they are. So that's fun. Yes, the monster in this episode, well, we'll see him soon. Or him or her soon. We'll find out. Spoilers.
Gigaros shows up to attack the bus where these children are singing a very strange song.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a Japanese nursery rhyme because in the American one they're singing the wheels on the bus.
Yeah.
What do we got? 1 carrot, 2
1
sandals.
carrot, 2 sandals, 3 yachts.
3 yachts. 4 sesame seeds. I think 5 rockets. Yeah, 5 rockets. You know this?
Wait. Well, no, but I just thought, where was it? Carrots. What was the second one?
Sandals.
Sandals and sa. Yachts would be ya. It must be like the hiragana like syllables.
Oh,
I found a page about it, but let's see. 1 carrot, 2 sandals is what I googled.
Sa.
Apparently, it is a Japanese song about learning your numbers 1 to 10.
Yeah,
you are correct.
Good guess. I mean, well, it was a logical thing to think. As you said, the monster is called Gigaros in Japan. It is called Vulturos in the Deke dub, and it's another example of a female monster who is one tiniest, slightest, littlest bit. Maybe you could possibly convince someone one time that it was a guy, so they went, cool, let's just give it a totally masculine guy voice. It's a guy now. Like, they have just decided they don't want female monsters on the show as much as possible for some reason. Which
is weird, because it's a theme. It's a recurring theme.
I know. Listen, don't have to tell me. But they were like...
the Cardians are women.
They were like, nope, this one sounds like this. I'm Vulturos. I'm pretty sure they even call him. Like, it's just that for some reason they just keep making them all into men if they can.
Can I also say how much I love that? Like, I just watched the dub of the 2 episodes that I'm recording with you guys, and I didn't realize that they gave the Cardians like voices, and so that they can actually speak like human words besides their names.
Oh yeah,
and so. What that makes me really love about the dub in this moment, that Gigaros basically breaks into a bus, and Gigaros, who is apparently capable of speaking, Vulturos is capable of speaking sentences, just screams at children. He just opens his mouth and screams. Not like, hello children, time to die, just screams.
It's very true.
Now, earlier in the season, like at the start of the Doomtree saga, I talked about how one of the things I really like about Allan and Ann is that they are relatively sympathetic villains. Like they don't want to take over the world. They just want to live. They just want energy because they need it and they need to feed the Doomtree. And if they don't, they will all die. So now they're kidnapping busloads of children.
Are they kidnapping them?
That escalated quickly.
Are they actually kidnapping them? What is it the article saying in the newspaper? It says they're targeting little children. So I think what's probably happening is they found another busload of children asleep for no reason. I mean, I don't think they're taking them.
Here's the thing. They're targeting children because they are fresh, juicy, good sources of energy. They've taken 2 or 3 buses shortly after the first one, and the Mackay tree's not like springing up with new leaves. They're like, maybe this isn't a good idea. No, they double down. They take more children.
That's what they do, man. That's
like
how it
the
works.
solution to the energy not working is to just get more energy.
Yeah, more energy is definitely going to work.
I think we've learned that from Sailor Moon, if nothing else.
20 children at a time, and it's not working.
I want to know what calculations Amy has done to predict that there's a 67% probability that Sheba Kindergarten will be the next one that's hit.
Which is not like a great probability.
I mean, it's more than 50%. And again,
It's
she's
2/3.
She's definitely right. But what are these calculations she's done?
Are these kindergartens small enough that they only have one class that all fits on the same bus? Is that a thing in Japan? I don't know.
No, definitely not. Remember, because she specifically had to call out the name of her class. I'm in tulip class or whatever. It's just super coincidental.
From there, well, we get a gag of everyone sitting around very intensely working while Usagi's kicking back reading manga. And you know what? You can't finish off a monster, so let her read the manga. That's what I say.
And they say we're going to do Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, essentially.
We're going undercover at the kindergarten.
So we cut to the tulip class at the kindergarten. And Minako is just saying, yep, Sailor Moon and Sailor Venus are real.
Okay.
As though that is enough.
Yeah, and I want to know how this works. Because in a moment, the teacher's going to come up and not be like, what the fuck are you doing talking to these children? She's going to be like, thank you for coming. So what the fuck?
She just wrapped up a lecture.
Right. This is so like the little girl goes and goes, ma'am, I'd like to have a guest speaker come and talk about how real Sailor Moon is. Is that okay with you? I've arranged it. Like, what? What?
The reaction of the kids is kind of great. It's really like it's a very simple gag of making them like, more mature than they should be as little children. But when one of them just goes, are you going through some hard times, miss? It floored me, killed me on that.
It's pretty good.
And it's like, yeah, it feels like you're trying to escape reality, pushing all your troubles onto the kids and running off into your own imaginary fantasy land. Like, it's a really good gag. And I love that Mina she's not surprised. She just hates them.
Yep. She wants to tell them off, but she doesn't. She's sad that she can't. Although she says Usagi would, which I was like, I don't think so, but whatever. And then the teacher shows up and is like, time to go home. Let's get on the bus.
But I'm not going to go with you because when there's a giant vulture monster attacking buses full of kindergartners, who needs adult supervision?
Hey, I'm a random person. Can I ride with these kids? Sure, says the teacher to Sailor Venus. Like, I mean, look.
Who has a very Paul Christie face in that scene, by the way.
I mean, I understand she's not particularly threatening looking. She's a very pleasant looking 14-year-old girl who probably isn't killing children right now.
With her cat.
With her cat.
Who says meow?
But I don't know. I feel like schools have like policies about stuff. Like you can't just ride the school bus with the children for no reason. Maybe I'm wrong. Speaking of which, Sailor Moon, the only one who can use the transformation pen, is standing outside waiting for the bus to come by and uses the transformation pen to become...
What does she become, Jordan?
She becomes a fashionable and gentle kindergarten teacher.
Not really, though.
Well, that is what she asks to be turned into.
She becomes a woman with a haircut and a sweatshirt.
Yes. Well, isn't that what fashionable, gentle kindergarten teachers would wear?
I guess.
Now, again, the only thing you can say is it must have there must be a more magical component to this. Because again, she just runs up to the bus and goes, hang on, I'm late. I'm supposed to be on this bus. And they go, sounds good. Which I don't think is right or reasonable. Me and my cat are just going to get on this bus. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm a teacher. You can trust me.
Also, Usagi actually looks less like herself than I think any other time she has used the transformation pen.
Sure.
Even when she
And
had
is
green
immediately
hair.
recognized.
Oh yeah, when she turned into a guy, she looked more like herself here. Now, here's the part I love too. This is a very exciting bus for children to ride on. So there's these two teenage girls. Well, one who's at the time a teacher, I guess, so she's probably older than a teenager right now. And they are standing at the front of the bus with microphones, leading the entire bus in singing the Sailor Moon theme song.
Okay, now we know that this song exists in the world of Sailor Moon.
We've heard
It's
it
been
lots of
previous
times.
episodes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what is your general feeling about incorporating the theme song of something into the thing itself? Because I've been watching a lot of Power Rangers lately. I've been doing the column, and I know that their communicators, when their text alert noise is a MIDI version of the theme to Power Rangers. But there's also in Octopussy, there's that part where James Bond is supposed to meet the guy in I think he's in India, and there's a snake charmer who plays the James Bond theme, which James Bond clearly recognizes. And like that is his signal. Like, that I know that you're James Bond. We need to go talk. So he
That's
plays
hilarious.
the theme song. On
That's
his flute.
amazing. I did not know that. That's pretty good.
Incredible.
I mean, again, we know that they know this song. We've had our fan rationalization, which is this is the song that, what's his name again, Chris?
Talking about Yusuke Yamada?
Yes.
The Rainy
Yusuke
Day
Yamada.
Man?
Well, he's not the Rainy Day Man.
Is he not? I thought he was the Rainy Day Man.
No, Rainy Day Man is... Oh, wait. I didn't even make that connection. Was he called the Rainy Day Man? Because Rainy Day Man is the song I did, the song from the Deke Dub, from the Jupiter's Best Friend episode as well.
I mean, he was the man in that episode. Oh no, wait, no, the Rainy Day Man was the other guy, right? Oh, what was the name of his song? What was the name of Yusuke Yamada's song?
Waltz for Akiko is one
Waltz
of them.
for Kiko. That's right.
But that's,
I got confused.
And that's one of them. There are three songs. There's Waltz for Akiko. There's something about rain. There's another one about rain. I forget what it is.
The most pointless discussion we've had. It's Yusuke Yamada.
And then there's the song he wrote about Sailor Moon. And we were saying maybe this is the song he wrote about Sailor Moon.
Yes, I think this is the song that he wrote about Sailor Moon.
And so they're but again, just it's not even what they're singing. In the Deke Dub, they're singing Wheels on the Bus again. But just the idea...
So they're being led in a chorus of
Yes.
Wheels on the Bus by two adults.
Yes. Just the concept in general, that two adults are standing at the front of the bus with microphones being like, let's all sing a song. And they're just leading an entire bus of children in song. And not to mention, these children are loving it. They are eating this up. They are the happiest these children have ever been that we've seen. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. The whole situation is nuts.
I mean, this whole thing, this kind of like the theme song in the show thing, it is something that does happen whenever they need like a song, but they don't want to license a whole song and go all Macross on you. So they'll just like sing a couple lines of like the original, like the theme song because they have the rights to it. But it does raise so many like in-universe questions.
Well, they don't mention
Honestly,
Sailor Moon
like,
in it, right?
Oh, right. But I mean, it's totally like it's such. I don't know. It's Moonlight, it's Midnight, it's Real Fight. I was kind of mad when I watched the dub after watching the original episode that they didn't just like lead the children in fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight.
Which they do sing in the I Want to Be a Star song.
They do?
I'm pretty sure they do. They just don't get to the part about Sailor Moon. I'm pretty sure I have a vague recollection of Usagi and Molly, or Serena and Molly, like badly being like, fighting evil by the light. Like just awful. Maybe I'm making that up, but I'm pretty sure.
Speaking of which, Minako and Usagi are still really bad at singing.
Oh yeah, they sound terrible.
They're so bad. Man, though, like, but the whole second half of that song is about Sailor Moon.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't understand.
Gigaros shows up, and Minako, at least, seems very excited that there is a monster. Because she's like, hey, guess what? Sailor Moon's going to show up. All you kids are going to find out Sailor Moon is real. She's very excited about it. She's stoked.
That's so terrible. That's just so stupid. But you're right. She's immediately... I mean, you can also argue that she's trying to keep the children calm. But it's ridiculous. And Usagi is pretty into it, too. But it's then really weird to me that Usagi's like, so the first step is get my ass kicked.
First step is run face first at the monster.
And just get backhanded off the bus. She gets backhanded out the door. Like, the door just kind of goes, like, open, closed, to just drop her on the side of the road.
And here is my question.
Please.
There are times when Sailor Moon can't transform because it would blow her secret identity, right?
Yes. Ostensibly, yes.
She's currently disguised as someone else.
Right.
She could just transform and it would be like, wow, that new teacher that we've never seen before and we'll never see again is really Sailor Moon.
Yeah, you would think that would have been smart.
Huh.
Just transform.
Instead, she gets a stiff backhand.
Dumped out
right off the bus.
Dumped on the side of the road, and then she transforms, which is out on the street. There could be lots of cars driving by.
The tunnel is like, they're in a tunnel, but it's completely abandoned.
Because there was not room on the bus for her angel wings.
That's what it is, yeah. They would have hit the windows, you're right. Bursts of feathers, again, as always. So
have you guys ever seen the calculations that like a Japanese scientist has done to explain like the energy levels?
Yes.
And how much she would burn those kids alive.
But it's so innocent and pure. While she's been transforming,
they'd be burned alive and covered in ribbons and angel wings.
While she's been transforming, guess who's been holding off the monster again?
These cats are getting some work in these.
Artemis has been fighting the monster again. He gets again pretty brutally hit to the ground when we come back to them. And Venus gives the monster a stern look as a result. But then hold it right there, monster. Sailor Moon is right outside your bus and is gonna yell at you through the wall. Now, here's what Sailor Moon says. Sailor Moon, as you know, likes to declare what the crime is that the monster does before beating up the monster. And the crime, of course, is targeting children. It's bad to target children. Do you know why it's bad to target children, Chris?
Why is that, Jordan? Because
it makes us worry about who will take care of us in our old age.
Story checks out.
No! The value of children is you see them and go, someone will pay for my old age home. Excellent.
So Sailor Moon gets in a fight. We see her doing some dodging. One of the kids goes, "I think she's gonna be all right. Sailor Moon doesn't look that strong." Which, you know what, kid? F you, buddy.
Wow.
But, like, the thing is, Mie, the Sailor Moon fan, who wears Sailor Moon on her school jacket and on her casual cardigan, who demanded that Minako come to her school and tell everyone that Sailor Moon was for real, goes, I don't know. Like, if anyone should be like, yeah, Sailor Moon is going to beat this monster. Like, Sailor Moon always beats these monsters. It should be her.
Mina sneaks out another window of the bus while all the kids are watching so that she can help transform. And just before Sailor Moon gets her face clawed off, yes, Venus Crescent Blast, so therefore the monster is defeated, right? The end.
And all the kids recognize her as Sailor Venus, too, by the way.
Is that Sailor Venus? She's so cool.
Sailor Venus is great. She shoots out lasers. That other one just jumps around a lot.
Now, here's the thing. The monster is okay, and they're very baffled by this. And it's like, really? Because you never kill the monster with Crescent Beam. Maybe you killed one monster with Crescent Beam. Maybe. Not generally.
And that is when, just when it looks darkest, the kids start chanting, Sailor Moon, Sailor Venus, hang in there.
Wait a minute. Is that...
No.
Yeah, I think you're mistaken.
You're
neglecting...
Trying to skip over
a very big, important part of this episode.
Do we have to, though?
It's pretty vital.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
It's pretty vital.
We could completely skip over him.
No, because those children need to be inspired to do something to inspire the Sailor Scouts. He's when Gigaros, she's about to again like hand stab the scouts when a white rose comes flying into view and sticking into the ground. It's gone back to sticking into the ground now. And it's our good friend, the Moonlight Knight. And he says, once beyond the tunnel of frustration, there is a land of light overflowing with hope. You can overcome any hardship. Believe in yourself. And then Sailor Venus goes, believe in myself? And he goes, no, I was talking to Sailor Moon. No. And no, he goes, yes, you have powerful allies. Check it out. And then the kids start chanting, you could do it, Sailor Venus. You could do it, Sailor Venus.
Hang in there, Sailor Moon. The worst chanting.
It is pretty bad. It is creepy and weird.
Yeah.
But it makes Sailor Venus really determined.
She goes Super Saiyan.
Yes. She just wills herself into a new ability.
She does, like, she literally does, like, the Super Saiyan thing where she, like, where the wind comes up and blows her hair up. But yeah, then she learns a new attack that maybe would have been handy when they were fighting Queen Beryl, who literally killed her. But, you know.
You mean the Doom and Gloom girls. Come on.
Yes, the Doom and Gloom girls. I'm sorry. Queen Beryl was still working on that energy at the time. So she gets Crescent Beam Shower, which is her new attack, which is just, like, it is the most video gamey upgrade to her existing attack.
Yeah. But can I tell you something? It doesn't really do anything.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do anything.
Basically does the same thing that Crescent Beam did, except now she's satisfied with the results. So then Sailor Moon brings out her halation from her cutie rod, and that destroys the monster. As always. No surprise.
Yeah. Like, okay, cool new attack, Venus.
Nice.
I still had to do exactly what I was going to do before. Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Cleansing.
So Moonlight Knight then vanishes, like just fades out.
Not before he delivers his custom catchphrase. Adieu.
Well
What
done.
a nerd. What a turbo nerd.
Oh, by the way, in realizing the importance of believing, adieu. So again, this episode is all about the power of belief, even though it's pretty much gibberish throughout the episode. Like, you don't need to believe in Sailor Moon for her to be real. She's already real. And apparently you can just give yourself new superpowers by being like, I believe I have new superpowers.
Also, it's not really belief if you don't believe in them until you have literally seen them in front of you fighting monsters, which they already should have done anyway, because again, they've been in the newspaper.
Yeah.
I liked this episode a lot more before we started talking about it. By the way, my last note on the page here is Moonlight Knight is garbage.
My last note I forgot about. When Sailor Moon becomes a teacher, a kindergarten teacher in the Deke dub, she has a British accent.
I guess
Is that just what she thinks authority figures have?
I guess so.
Makes sense.
And so the episode ends with a cute little scene, quote unquote, where the little girl is going, Sailor Moon and Sailor Venus were both so cool, and now I'm a fan of Sailor Venus, even though I said I'd never heard of her before. The end.
And we'll never see her again.
What an exhausting episode.
God damn it.
I'm sorry you didn't care for it. Yeah, it was a little nonsense. But it had teachers in it.
Teachers teach us lessons. I picked up on it. I picked up what you were laying down.
You got there.
So I guess we should have learned a lesson, Jordan. What were we supposed to have learned?
Well, I'll tell you.
Mina really cared about her little friend Carrie. It's important we older kids set a good example for younger kids.
Yeah, you don't realize how much they're watching us and using us as role models.
From how we handle situations,
to how we treat other people.
even our study habits.
Or lack thereof. Our younger brothers and sisters and other younger kids are looking to us to set a good example.
Let's make it a good one. Sailor Moon says.
I get mad every time I hear it because of the part where they go, they want us to set a good example. Let's make it a good one.
I gotta say though, that is basically the moral of the episode.
No, Chris, the moral of the episode is if you believe in things, they are real.
I mean, it's close. Like, I'm trying to give it some credit. I like when they're looking to us for a good example, so let's make it a good one is good. But also I like Mina really cared about her friend Carrie. She cared so much.
Oh.
I I really liked study habits. Oh, lack thereof. Fuck you, Luna.
Poor Luna. She wants what's best.
So let's talk about what we learned.
Okay.
Annie, what did you learn from this episode of Sailor Moon?
Well, according to that PSA, apparently I learned that children are watching you all the time, even when you sleep, when you're showering, when you're doing anything. Children are always watching. You are always being watched by tiny eyes. So make sure you set a good example.
Wow.
Jordan, what did you learn?
Well, I learned that your friends and your family and everyone you know is real as long as you believe in them. I wonder if the opposite is also true, though. If there's somebody you really dislike, can you just really work at not believing in them and then they just will cease to be? Maybe that's a lesson for next episode. We'll find out.
Isn't that the plot of a Discworld book?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I've only ever seen a movie based on one of the books. Never read them. How about you, Chris?
I learned. Oh, what did I learn? What did any of us learn? I'm exhausted.
It is
watching this episode.
It's almost 1:00 in the morning right now.
Yeah, it's really late for you guys.
I learned that if you meet someone on the street, just ask them about the things that you're unsure if you believe in them. And then if they give you an answer that you find appropriate or comforting, invite them to your school and let them into your school.
Yeah.
That's a handy lesson for all the kids out there that no one should have ever learned.
We have a lot of kindergartners who listen to this show.
I hope not, because Annie and I both swore.
I think I probably swore
on
too.
This episode.
I probably did.
I said swear.
So yeah, that brings us to the end. Man, I really liked this episode a lot more before we started talking about it. Now I'm so tired.
It's cute. It's cute. It's got some good parts in it. Don't worry about it. Next episode has Baby Jordan in it, so that's gonna be fun.
Baby Jordan?
In the Deke dub.
Oh, I was about to say, do you identify with the character in the next episode?
Only because we have the same name.
So, what are we thinking about this one? Is this 4 in a row? Is this 4 disappointments in a row?
This is
Sailor Moon?
The best of those 4.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think this one's just so ultimately forgettable. It goes through such a weird route to getting